Hey Guardians, and welcome to my gaming channel, and welcome to my very first official build showcase when it comes to Destiny itself. I want to launch this build and showcase you my Shinobi build within Destiny itself. Have you ever wondered yourself how it feels to be a true proper Shinobi, when it means you can lurk in the dark and come out of it and be extremely deadly? So I'm trying to synergize myself within the concept what a Shinobi is within Destiny itself. Which type of weapons do we have that will make sure that I'm always lurking in the dark, and the moment I go out of the dark I am extremely deadly, and most importantly I'm volatile. How did I make this build? This build synergizes himself between two unique weapons and of course exotic armor sets. The one is the Tinashi Mastery with the chill clip and reverberation perks on it, together with the exotic armor set Hardwork, which allows me every single time I have a dark debuff, I come invisible. The moment I come out of invisibility, every single void weapon of my choosing is volatile. Volatile then is apply himself to any single target I kill, and then spread himself to all the targets in the surrounding. So if it comes to ad control, volatile is extremely deadly and extremely powerful. And the weapon of choice that I've chosen if it comes to making sure I am lethal and I do a lot of damage in in-game content is of course the one and only pulse rifle, the Gyrfalcon Lance Void, together with the H Transits Void Heavy with auto reload and of course light perk on it itself. Now, how do I make sure that every single thing becomes synergize himself perfectly? Now let us check first the perks itself when it comes to how the prismatic aspect works around this build. First thing first, let's start first with the fragments. The very first fragment that I use is the facet of protection. The facet of protection, what it does, while I'm surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While Transcendence, the effect is increased. That is very important in form of survivability, and what a Transcend is going to do, your Transcend is resonate in a form of a perfect harmony between light and darkness. You gain increased ability in regen and increased weapon damage and damage resistance against combatant itself. If it comes to survivability, this is simply a must if it comes to endgame contents. Secondary fragment I'm using in this build is a facet of ruin. The facet of ruin increases the size of damage of the burst of your shattered stasis crystals. Because I'm synergizing myself perfectly with my Shuriken, I'm using a lot of stasis crystals in my surrounding. Every single time I burst this crystal, it creates an area effect that does an extended damage towards every single enemy around me. It's applied freeze as well, and freeze makes sure that it increases additional damage towards the enemy that has been shattered in my surrounding. The third aspect I'm using is a facet of purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power grants either an Amplify, Restoration, First Armor, and Woven Mail, and Overshield. We're creating quite a lot of orbs in this build, so this facet of purpose is proccing himself quite often in our playstyles, and make sure that we have an extra form of survivability in in-game contents. The fourth fragment we are using is the facet of command. The facet of command increases the freeze and suppressing to target reload, your equipment, weapons, and increase weapon stability, aim assist, and airborne effectiveness. Defeating frozen or suppressed targets create a status shard or a void breach. Once again, that is a form of survivability, extremely important in our in-game aspects. And last not least, we're using the facet of hope that helps me and all my class ability to regen a little bit faster than normal. Now for the aspect ratio, I like to use of course my bread and butter, the stylish executor. That is literally the bread and butter if it comes to my Shinobi build. What it does actually, it grants me invisibility if every single time I have a darkness debuff applied to an enemy. That means with chill clip and every single thing that is related with frost or dark energy, this procs himself extremely fast. That means I'm always invisible. Combine this of course with Winter Shroud. That is literally the best combination you're gonna have if it comes to a Shinobi build. This allows me every single time I dodge any nearby enemy in my surrounding, get slowed in the process moving forward. Is absolutely insane if it comes to ad control and of course survivability once again in in-game contents. For ability itself, I like to switch between the gambler dodge and of course the acrobatic dodge. Why I like to do that, if it comes to the in-game contents and the Grandmaster aspects, if there is a Grandmaster with barrier, I like to run of course the acrobatic dodge, so I can always have a form of radiance on me. Every single time I dodge with acrobatic dodge, it creates me a radiance, so every single weapon that I have, for example the pulse rifle becomes radiance. That means I can stun barrier champions. If I don't have any Grandmaster that is not based on barrier champions, that means I stick by the normal combination with Gambler's dodge. And what this does, every single time I dodge, increases my recharge of my melee ability. Once again, it synergizes off perfectly with the melee abilities that I'm using. If it comes to the jumping, as a hunter itself, I use the triple jump. I choose the jumping style that you like. I like to use this one. If it comes to melee, I like to use the Winter's Blade. The Winter's Blade is truly an amazing melee attack. What it does actually, it increases a frost build-up towards the enemy itself. It slows it down. It's extremely powerful against Overlord Champion in this patch moving forwards. So it stuns them very, very quickly. So in in-game content, it becomes extremely viable. In general contents, this helps you extremely if it comes to ad control, because it bounces himself against every single target and it slows the whole field down. So every single enemy that has a darkness debuff, and the moment they die with my chill clip, then procs himself the invisibility of the Stylus Extricator, and of course my exotic armor's chest, it procs himself, and then all my volatile weapons and my void weapons get himself buffed the moment I'm going out of invisibility. So this helps me quite a lot. Together with the Dusk's Field, the same principle, it applies himself a darkness debuff on the enemy itself the moment the person dies. It procs of course my invisibility executor, procs my armor chests, and my armor chest again procs my weapons, who is void, and rents all my void weapons, then volatile weapons, volatile armor itself. If it comes to the Prismatic Hunter super itself, once again, this truly depends on the playstyles you want to go. It truly goes where you want to be. I like to use, if it comes to content that has a lot of ad control, I like to use of course the Silence and Squirrel, the main if it comes to a hunter, Stasis Hunter, the Revenant Hunter back in the days. So I like to use this one if it comes to ad control, and of course this one also procs my Stylish Executor as well the moment I have kills with this. So that means I'm always having a form of a loop, because of also many darkness debuff I'm having and applying to that. My invisibility is always proccing at every single time. And once again, like I said, it really depends on the content. Where I like to use, if it comes to contents, I have example, once again, barrier champions, I like to run my golden gun. So what this is going to do, once again, give me radiance, and radiance allows me then to kill and stun barrier champions. And once again, it really depends on the content you are doing. I like to run between of course the golden gun and of course the silence squash. Now, if it comes to the seasonal perks that I'm using right now, of course, I start with Unstoppable Pulse Rifle, because I use it in Graviton Lens. This perk, of course, helps me stop the Unstoppables. I'm using, of course, the Overload Grenade Launcher as well. Depends if I'm running around in any other weapon. For example, the Last Call I can use as well to, of course, to stun Unstoppable Champions. And also the Last Call is also one of those unique weapons that does frost damage. And I also use the Authority mods. The Authority mods significantly discount my melee abilities, procs himself with my shurikens. Then I use the Killing Breeze and the one for Frost. While I have a stasis weapon on, it grants me of course a Frost armor. Try to combine that of course with the different form of stasis weapon mods that I have. Of course the Wind Chill, Crystal Over Converter. Every single time I destroy a crystal shard, creates like a burst area effect and increase my melee chance. And every single time I have a burst of a freeze aspect, I use the armor of Erasmus. While the armor Frost is activated, taking critical damage from combat, it causes you to emit a freeze burst, so it helps me in my survivability. I use brain freeze as well. Every frozen enemy in my surrounding is being slowed. Addition to that, I also use the power of pain. This grants me devour. Every single time a rapid final blow against a weakened combatant grants me devour. Just give me a little bit more an extra punch of conservability. Concussive reloads. This journey, if I'm using a grenade launcher, of course, it weakens combatant shields. Last but not least, of course, I use the silvered gold. While picking a shards grants me class ability, and while picking a void breach grants me melee ability. Now, if it comes to the armor mods I use on the gear set itself, for the headpiece, I'm running, of course, the special armor finder with the harmonic siphon, and of course the heavy armor scouts. The harmonic siphon, what it does, it creates the orbs for me on the ground every single time I'm using a stasis weapon, final blows. For the arm piece, I'm running, of course, the 3 different arms melee mods itself, focusing strike, momentum transfer, and of course melee kickback. For the chest piece, I only run the mods that is necessary for the content that I'm using for defense aspects. For the leg piece, I'm using element and charge and the void weapon surge, because the 2 primary weapons that I use, of course, the DPS output is, of course, my H transfer and of course the Graviton lens. So I want to buff that DPS output a little bit higher with the void surge right here. And the last mod that I use on my cloak, I use, of course, the outreach, reducing the melee count every single time I use my class ability. I use the bomber, reduce the grenade cooldown when I'm using my class ability, and of course distribution, reducing all the ability cooldown when using your class ability, just in generally. Alright Guardians, and that's it for my very first build showcase within my YouTube channel itself. And hope you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, do please smash the like button, comment down below, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're new to this beautiful gaming channel. More builds if it comes to Disney will be coming, as I'm getting more used to it come to build crafting and the game itself. More exciting build, out of the box thinking builds will be constructed itself, and of course how we can enjoy Destiny even further into 2025. If I don't see you on my live streams, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and of course and a Happy New Year. All the best wishes for yourself and your beautiful family moving forwards. Once again, if you have any form of additional questions, you can always reach me on my Discord page or during my live streams, where I do different form of challenges if it comes to death rounds, solo rounds, and etc. and etc. Just in general, Grandmaster, or if any help you may have or need in Grandmaster, you can always reach me as well in my Discord page, and I'm always willing to help within my best of my abilities, of course. And yeah, generally, thank you very much for being here. Merci beaucoup encore pour m'entendre. And if I can see you very, very soon on the next one, the next installation, and the next build showcase, and of course, the next content if it comes to Destiny itself. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. I'll see you guys next time, man. One love only. Peace.